So yeah, so every time somebody was coming in from out of town or something, he would ask if there was some availability at the Tank, and it just became this thing where a lot of chiptune people became familiar with going to the Tank to see shows.
I've gotten really gentle with the way I set my Game Boys down because, oh, see, like look at that. That's a bad load. That's a bad boot. That requires the classic is kind of the one, that's got the best sound. Most people seem to agree on that. The SP is nice because you've got, the backlit screen, and it's real easy to see, while you're writing and while you're performing, especially. But the sound is a little bit different. It's a little bit thinner. I like the classics. They're kind of, to me, the form factor is better. It's a little easier to manipulate. These are kind of too small for me. Like my hand covers the whole thing. I mean, there's stuff like this, third-party stuff, lights that you can clip on. No Sleep has, had his custom backlit. That's like, so such a coveted thing, man. I just sit there and drool when I watch him play, because he's basically had a guy like, pull them open and put backlights in all of the screens. So that's the thing to do. There used to be a couple of stores in New York that you could buy stuff at, but it's harder and harder to find the Game Boy Classics now. There's still some out there. A friend of mine gave me one of these, just had it laying around, wasn't doing anything. There's a lot of people just sitting on them. They don't realize, that you can really still use them for stuff other than just playing Super Mario. I guess people were calling it 8-bit music. I just started to learn about it. But like around 2001, I started playing some live shows, very few, like parties and things like that, with my friend Haeyoung Kim, Bubbly Fish.
Yeah, back then, the people were more amazed by making sound with this Game Boy more than anything. And there wasn't really any scene, and I didn't feel like I was a part of the scene or we had to make a scene. I was just enjoying making music on it.
And we ran into a guy named Josh at one of Bubbly Fish's gigs out in Hoboken, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm really into this Game Boy thing. It's really cool. I got one too." So this was Bit Shifter. We had met Bit Shifter, and he became a good friend. He's a really great guy. And then shortly after that, we met Jeremiah Johnson, No Sleep, at a show at Remote Lounge.
I just immediately knew, like, yeah, these are the types of people I want to work with.
There was an early nucleus that kind of formed of Glowmag, Bubbly Fish, Null Sleep, and I guess myself, and it's cool to have been sort of a part of that.
And I guess eventually we started to help each other, getting shows or going to see their performance, and then it became a scene, I think.
And then shortly after, Mark DiNardo had moved here from Chicago, and we'd been in touch with him prior to that also, and then he moved here, and so now he's part of the New York crew.
We'll take the summertime. Impala 66. Oh, the fields of the Appalachian Hills. Impala 66.
It was a Bjork website. The words LSDJ were like posted as a link on the very top of the page. I really had a hard time figuring out what they were selling, which is cartridges that go into Game Boys and allow you to make music with them. Whoa, shit. I didn't take it seriously at first at all. I thought it was just some kind of weird joke.
And yeah, now we've known each other for, 4 or 5 years, and it's, the New York crew.
I'd hesitate to say like there's anything necessarily special about New York that may not happen, other than the fact that I think you have tons of venues, you have people, a lot of people with open minds, people willing to give a half an hour of their time to listen to the weirdest shit you can imagine.
My name is No Sleep. I write music for the Nintendo Game Boy and the Nintendo Famicom. So we're gonna see what these little guys can do.
We started to realize that there was actually a crowd in New York that wanted to hear live 8-bit music. There were a couple of attempts at trying to get a weekly or a monthly event to kind of become the Game Boy thing.
It was probably Pete who came to us and said, hey, been coming to these shows here, we should do something regular.
Mike, who's already been putting on a bunch of shows at the Tank previous, it's like, we should really talk to him and just get a residency so people know, like, okay, it's March 31st, the 4th week, it's time to go see what chip show is going on at the Tank. And I was like, yeah, we should do that, meaning not me. And then all of a sudden I get an email of Mike. It's like, Josh said you'd be interested in doing this. I'm like, okay. It's like, I guess. So that's basically the idea of the Pulsewave shows. It's like, if you build it, they will come. And that was like the first time I really felt like, the hype behind everything. Like, maybe this is something, maybe it has a certain zeitgeist that's gonna catch on.
Everything has been informed by Pulsewave.
Pulsewave kind of, became, because of the involvement of Mike Rosenthal from the Tank, it gave birth to a desire to do something bigger, I think.
Let's give it up for No Sleep. Now, chances are, if any of you are going out of town the next couple of weeks, No Sleep will be playing in that town because him and Bitshifter are going on a world tour, entirely self-financed. So if you can make it, give them a few bucks on the way out, or make it to resist.8bitpeoples.com and make a donation. They're still a couple $1,000s short of getting the boat. That couple $100. A couple $100,000 away from getting their yacht to go on the round the world yacht tour. We're going to be back next month with Anamanaguchi.
We did a world tour in 2006.
It was something that we initially said yeah, fuck yeah, let's do a world tour, why not, Let's just head over to Europe, go through Europe, go to Japan, and just keep going until we circumnavigate the planet.
And they came back saying, wow, there's all these great people in Japan doing all this cool stuff, and sort of in Europe, and it was just kind of acknowledged that it's great. There's a lot of people doing a lot of cool stuff on the chiptune scene.